My boy Jada, man. The orchestrated hit of Jaydayoungan revenge, hate, and jealousy.
Investigators have spent the past 24 hours trying to put all the pieces together in a double shooting there. There were 3 separate shooting scenes. And as Mike McDaniel explains, authorities believe they're all connected and that they're part of a bigger problem.
There will be no stone left unturned until we found out who took him.
On July 26, 2022, Jaydayoungan posted a snippet during his house arrest after being released from prison a month ago. The post, which featured his son, was captioned, "This house arrest stuff is undefeated." And in the very beginning of the snippet, he talks about his ops. Little did we know that the next 24 hours were going to be very eventful for the Louisiana-born rapper. Born Javorius Tyke Scott in Bogalusa, Louisiana on July 15, 1998, Jaydayoungan emerged from the streets with the raw talent that resonated with many.
My boy Jada was going crazy.
Fulio. Reports of feuds with rival artists and internal conflicts within his crew started to gain attention. He popularly had beef with rappers like NBA Youngboy and Fulio. As Jaydayoungan's fame grew, so did the risk he faced. He was no stranger to legal issues. On June 16, 2022, Scott pleaded guilty to possession of a firearm while under indictment for felony charges and was sentenced to time served, as well as 1 year supervised release. He was also fined $5,500 and subject to a $100 mandatory special assessment fee. This legal situation is directly correlated with the house arrest that was referenced in the earlier mentioned Instagram post. To the house arrest.
Right.
The night of July 27, 2022, in Bogalusa, Louisiana, when tragedy struck. Jaydayoungan was spending time with his father, Kenyatta Scott, on the front lawn of their home. The arrival of a black truck hauling armed gunmen shattered the peace of the evening. Jaydayoungan's father, Kenyatta Scott Sr. As the 3 gunmen stepped out of the truck, chaos ensued. Jaydayoungan and his father.
Both his fathers. Both him and his father.
On the side of the house, gunfire erupted, filling the night air with a fatal symphony of viciousness. The hail of bullets left Jaydayoungan critically wounded, with multiple gunshot wounds. His father, Kenyatta Scott, bravely fought back, returning fire in an act of self-defense. The scene was a tableau of horror, a stark reminder of the brutal reality that can lurk beneath fame. Scott was shot at least 8 times and succumbed at the local Bogalusa hospital, not far from
8 at least.
Scott Sr. was shot twice in the arm and was in stable
And
condition.
his dad was shot
As
twice.
news of the shooting spread, shockwaves reverberated through the hip-hop community and beyond. Investigators launched a painstaking journey to uncover the truth. Interviews with witnesses, surveillance footage analysis, and social media scrutiny painted a portrait of growing.
On Wednesday, July p.m., Bogalusa Police received call shooting. 600 blog officers responded and found that 1 victim had been transported by POV to Our Lady of Angels. The victim still on the scene was critically wounded and was treated on scene. Transporter ER, their condition cannot be released at this time. While working at the chaotic scene, hospital and working the crime scene, Superior, another shooting took place in the 800 block of Marshall Road shortly after 7 p.m. In that case, a vehicle was shot and possibly related to the first shooting. Occupants were not hit. Detectives are also actively working on that crime scene.
Conflict that had spiraled out of control. The puzzle pieces began to fall into place. The backdrop of rivalries, misunderstandings, and personal vendettas formed a complex mosaic of motives. The truth behind Jaydayoungan's final hours was a labyrinthine journey, where the destination would be a haunting revelation. Some even argued that his father was the target of the shooting.
Damn.
As Kenyatta Scott Sr. is also no stranger to legal disputes. Further insight into the circumstances surrounding the shooting remained elusive in the immediate aftermath.
Right, we got that.
Law enforcement refrained from disclosing any apprehensions or arrests linked to the case. Adding to the turmoil of the situation, reports surfaced of an additional shooting incident shortly following Jaydayoungan's tragic passing. Police said while working a chaotic scene at the hospital and working at the scene of the incident on Superior Avenue, another shooting unfolded in the 800 block of Marshall Richardson Road. A vehicle became the target of gunfire around 7 p.m. on the same evening.
Yeah, that's what I just
To
read.
investigate a possible connection. Officers found the vehicle with bullet holes in it. Thankfully, no injuries were reported in that instance, leaving investigators without concrete evidence to definitively establish a link between the two occurrences.
So they left the car somewhere with bullet holes in it?
The shooting, unlike Jaydayoungan's case.
And a few minutes later, while my officers are investigating this scene, we had a call of another shooting across town. Later in the night, a few hours later, we had a third shooting.
Damn.
A house was shot up that we also believe to be related.
Police say no one was hurt during the other two shootings.
There were also reports of further shootings, who the police thought to be related to Jaydayoungan's homicide and part of a wider societal issue.
It's sad. This is Bogalusa. It's a small community.
Police Chief Kendall Bullen says while on the scene, there was a second shooting just minutes away. An SUV was shot up near the intersection of Marshall Richardson and Ott Roads.
In the wake of the shooting,
Ott
law
Road.
enforcement made strides.
That look like Booney Land. That look like country roads. It say the orchestrated hit of Jaydayoungan.
Shedding light on the motives behind the attack. As court proceedings unfolded, a clearer understanding emerged of the factors that fueled the tragic event. Despite all this, the hit has still not been solved. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the hip-hop community mourned the loss of Jaydayoungan. Candlelight vigils illuminated the night.
Oh God, it's cold outside, especially if you sweating after gym.
His music, once a soundtrack of struggle, took on new layers of meaning as listeners grappled with the weight of his untimely departure. On August 7th, 2022, Scott was laid to rest. His funeral was held in the auditorium of his former high school in Bogalusa. Among those in attendance were notable artists Boosie Badass and Youngin Ace.
That nigga left the house again?
His goals of owning a record label were cut short. Boosie Badass was one of the first rappers to publicly comment on Jaydayoungan's passing. Youngin Ace's relationship with Jaydayoungan was quite a roller coaster ride. The Florida native experienced both highs and lows in his bond with the 23 Island rapper, and sadly, it seemed like things were strained between them when Jaydayoungan passed away. He expressed his deep regrets with heartfelt sincerity in his Instagram tribute. Also, it's important to note that not all responses to Jaydayoungan's passing were positive. Earlier, we talked about Julio Fulio, and shockingly, he turned to Instagram to make light of Jaydayoungan's passing. In a rather distasteful post, he penned, "Rest in peace, Jaydayoungan. You'll be missed, LOL." And in another post, he openly revealed that he's still holding on to a grudge against the late rapper. Jaydayoungan's legacy served as a stark
He
reminder
said just to be
that
cool with the
famous
ops.
success can be fragile. And
That
the
nigga was
price of a
out.
life
The mall is open at 1 a.m. for y'all.
high. His fans remember him as
Our
a
mall
young
be
artist
closing at
who
8.
channeled his life experiences into his music, even as the world around him teetered on the edge of chaos. Jaydayoungan's family and friends found solace in remembering
So this was a
his
clickbait title. This was a clickbait title.